In New Orleans, there are about 1,400 people who are unhoused, and about 400 of them are actually living on the streets. A lack of affordable housing is a problem. Lubus Services is a nonprofit organization. We're working to build housing for people who are homeless. The main thing that makes Lubus different from other affordable housing is the fact that we're doing permanent supportive housing, that we're linking the housing to services. And we're specifically for people who are experiencing homelessness in New Orleans.
This project at Northside Square is the catalyst for larger efforts around the Klondike neighborhood. The Works and its partners in the Klondike neighborhood and as a part of the Northside Square development, we're very intentional about our efforts here to make sure that the residents and small businesses are not displaced of the Northside Square redevelopment.
Before I purchased my home at Hope, I was living in a halfway house for 4 years with 8 people that was living there. Went to another bank where I had all my money and everything and had been with them for a while. They just say, wait, and I went to Hope. They got me prepared to get the $105,000 home. And then when she told me that I was approved, she said, you are officially a homeowner. I cried. I recommend anybody to Hope. If you're not ready, prepared, they'll get you prepared.
Once we started working with Hope, we were able to pull in another CDFI to help us with the construction loan, Nucor. But it was Hope's willingness to invest in us that made other financial institutions want to join and be a part of it.
For Hope to take that risk, that chance on us, is quite significant.
The community of Hamburg is composed of about 35% African American, 25% Latino. There are healthcare disparities in the area. Most of the people here have to travel 2 hours away to be able to see a healthcare specialist. Care First fulfills that need in the community with the wellness component. We are very instrumental with talking with our patients face to face, getting to the root cause of issues and providing them healthy lifestyle options.
When I started my business, I had $800. I've never had a loan until the last maybe 10 years that I was able to get a loan. And that's actually, you have to build yourself up, build up capacity before companies, especially banks, will let you have the money. I was a part of the Supply Diversity Program that Hope Credit Union done. They helped us with our financing, and it helped me out in a lot of ways. They educated us on funding and management. Well, as a minority business, we was able to learn a lot about doing business, and they helped out tremendously in that area.
The city of Shaw has a population of a little over 1,600. Our primary source of income is property taxes and water bills. Don't have a lot of businesses here in Shaw to actually pay sales taxes. Mayors, your aldermen are elected, but they only meet that once a month. And with a part-time mayor, you cannot, or you do not actually devote 8 hours a day into those type situations. Well, that's where Hope comes in handy, to have people on board. They can guide you. Shaw had no idea what a strategic plan was prior to my becoming mayor or Hope coming in to assist us. But if you don't have a guide or a road to get to a certain point, you are spinning wheels because you don't know how to get to where you want to get to.
Hope Credit Union, they are definitely making dreams come true and making sure that they assist with meeting the needs of the community. Not only does Hope impact my life, but they're impacting thousands of lives by allowing us to be able to meet the needs of the community.
My name is Lou Ann White.
Rashawn Austin.
My name is Frank Dixon.
Nathan Fuller.
I'm Everett Stanton.
I'm Mona Arnold McBride.
And with Hope, we're making it happen.
Good evening. Let's give ourselves a hand with that. I am Carolyn Jefferson, and I have the pleasure of being the chairman of the board of the Hope Credit Union. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here this evening. This meeting of the members are members of the Hope Credit Union as well as the Hope Enterprise Corporation. I'd like to ask all of the members of both the credit union, board of directors of the credit union and HEC to please stand. And I'd also like to recognize the chair of the Hope Enterprise Corporation, Judge Robert Gibbs. If you would please stand and keep it up. In late 2023, both boards of directors approved a bold strategic plan designed to significantly expand Hope's impact and advance our mission of strengthening the financial health of people in underserved, resource Deep South communities. The plan builds on the capabilities and the experience gained by Hope of over more than 3 decades. During the course of this evening's meeting, management will update you on the progress made in 2024 and on our plans for the year ahead. Mr. Slay, can you help me make sure that we have established a quorum of the members before we get started?
Yes, ma'am, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. According to our bylaws, we must have 15 members, and Mr. Slay has just certified to me that we do in fact have more than 15 members for a quorum. Let the record show that there is a quorum, and we will begin the meeting this evening. The minutes of the last annual meeting have been placed in our chat box, and for those of you who have had an opportunity to review them, are there any corrections for those minutes? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion for the adoption of the annual meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes of the previous annual meeting be approved and adopted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. The next item on our agenda this evening is to elect the board of directors for the credit union. The nominating committee has met, and that committee was composed of Brenda Richard Montgomery, Robert Gibbs, and Bill Bynum. And they have recommended the following persons to serve as directors for 3 terms, for 3-year terms from 2025 to 2028. And as you can see on the screen, the slate includes, okay, there we are. It includes Ivy Allen, who is from Jackson, Mississippi, and a nonprofit leader. Bernard Mays Jr., who is from Birmingham, Alabama, and he is with the University of Alabama at Birmingham. David Jackson, who is from Indianola, Mississippi, and a community development consultant. And Shackelford from Montrose, Arkansas, and she is part of the Teacher for America of the Greater Delta. And Rika Lewis Payne of Jackson, Mississippi, who is a healthcare executive. Are any of those nominated for board of directors present with us this evening? And I'd like for you to see that. Ms. Payton is here with us. And Mr. Slay, can you tell me whether or not any of the other proposed board members are online?
I believe Ann Shackelford is also on.
Okay. All right, I will then entertain a motion for the approval of the credit union board of directors slate from the nominating committee for approval.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the members have approved the slate of new board members to serve the May 2025-2028 term. And those members include again, Ivy Allen, David Jackson, Rika Lewis Payton, Bernard Mayers, and Shackelford. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We do also have a poll open, if you'll give it just a few moments for people online to vote as well.
Okay. Thank you. And will you tell me when that voting has completed?
Getting votes in, just a few more moments. We have 2 that are still in progress. We'll let them complete that, and then we'll close the poll. All right, we've closed the poll. We may proceed.
Okay, and is there a majority of those who voted include ayes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is affirmative.
All right, the ayes have it and the motion is carried. Thank you. This evening, we're going to move to the reports from the various members of the Hope Credit Union team to update you on those key developments from the past year and the plans for 2025. You will first hear from Cassandra Williams, who is our newly appointed president of Hope Credit Union, and Ed Seaback, who is the newly appointed president of Hope Enterprise Corporation. Both Ed and Cassandra have played the key leadership roles during their 20 years at Hope. And as I said, were recently appointed to these positions, and they will continue to carry out the stewardship of this organization as it continues to grow in scale and complexity, as well as impact. Following their report, we will hear from our Chief Financial Officer, Alan Branson, who will provide the financial report. After Alan, we will have a report from the Senior Vice President of Compliance, Crystal Woodard Smith, and she will report on behalf of the Audit and Supervisory Committee. And then, of course, we will hear from our CEO, Bill Bynum, and we will conclude the meeting with any questions that we have from members who are seated here in the room, as well as those questions that have been posted in the chat room. Ms. Cassandra.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you guys?
Well, thank
Good, good. I am excited to share the updates this evening for the credit union. As I move through the slides align with our strategic goals. Really, as Jefferson said, the very aggressive goals. And I am really, really nervous right now. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest with you. This is like a huge art thing for me. I'm gonna just break it down that way. I have served this organization for the last 25 years of my banking career. My heart, my sweet husband is here. He's seen me, take calls from people in homeless shelters and, helping people from homelessness to home ownership. He's seen all of that. And so, you think about your journey and what got you here. And it's really a God thing. That's what I know. And Bill has entrusted me with one of the greatest opportunities, I think, in the world, to be able to give people access to resources. And I know the time, Madam Chair, but to give people access to resources is something that my dad only dreamed about. He was a civil rights activist. So to have an opportunity to place resources in the places where people desperately need them most it's just part of what the Lord created me to do. So I'm blessed to stand here before you. I'm blessed to take the charge, to lead this credit union to over 500,000 members strong. Yes, we're gonna speak it on out there. And just really share these updates with you. So want to start by recognizing John Malkin. He's not here tonight, but he leads our mortgage team. And we've gone through some transformation in the mortgage area. We went from 3 to 18 mortgage loan officers last year. And that has really driven the mortgage loan production, along with just really working with key stakeholders. This report will talk about our small business area, our community and economic development work, but it all aligns with our strategic planning goals. Increasing our mortgage production, I talked about that. Are converting renters to homeowners. That is a really exciting project. We have worked with Black tech developers, low income housing tax credit developers over the years, and there are thousands of renters in these homes. They've lived there for 15 years, and they're at the end of a compliance period that might be going deep into the weeds, but they have an opportunity to own these homes, and we're working closely with them to make that happen. So excited about that. We have a spring promotion, $500 off closing costs with no down payment. That's a regular opportunity that we have here at the credit union. No down payment in our affordable housing program. And so if you have not taken advantage of that, the people in the room, tell somebody. That's what this is about too, is sharing what you know about the credit union and sharing it with somebody else. Next slide, please. Empowering members. I want to recognize Pearl Wicks. I know Pearl is in the room. Pearl's our chief retail officer, and she leads the retail operations, all of our branch network, back office. And we took last year to reorganize, and I say reorganize, just to take a look and a deep dive into our retail operations. But we have always served members with care and compassion. I was talking with Alan earlier, and he said, when he finished talking to me, he said, "My pleasure." That's what we need from people. It needs to be our pleasure to serve our members. When they walk into the credit union, they need to know it's our pleasure. Because some people, they don't trust financial institutions. So if the first line of defense is, I can't serve you, or whatever that is, it needs to be our pleasure. And they need to see that and know that. And that's part of the transformation. That's part of, helping people see the importance, that they're important to us. These communities are important. And so a merger took place. New Pilgrim, historic 60-year legacy in Birmingham, Alabama. Probably nobody would give them access to credit or services. So merging with this credit union is historic for us. And so joining with innovation, the things that we bring, their expertise, and the excellent member service that's going to happen. We're going to keep that at the forefront. Excellent service. If you haven't taken advantage of our checking account services, that's a note that I have here, but we want to continue our service excellence by working with employer groups, our faith-based community. All of the work that has been done, started in Bill's church. So we don't want to miss the fact that there's a interconnection of faith in this work. So working with our faith-based community, continuing our work with partners that align with this work, but also amping up our digital strategy. Working to ensure that people have quick access, because that's what young people want. That's what they think Chime is a bank that they can have a relationship with, and to a degree they have, but it's not a real connection. It's not the next step to home ownership. It's not, when I have an emergency, to get cash that I desperately need to take care of. I've had situations with funeral expenses that people come up. We don't save properly. Education. That's what this credit union is. And so that's what we want this voice and this message to get out, and you guys to continue to help us elevate that. Mentioning the rewards checking, 5.1% interest. I don't know a lot of banks that are offering that. And if they are, well, this is the place to put your resources. We want to be your primary financial institution. And how do we do that? It's by taking a chance on us. And then when we misstep, let us know. You know, don't go talking about us and taking your money someplace else. Let us know and give us an opportunity to do better. Give us an opportunity. We don't extend grace to people. And that's what I would love to see. Just that grace extended. And yes, next slide. I know I'm not. Madam Chair, I know my time. I'm not. Okay. Advancing economic opportunity with entrepreneurship. We want to recognize and a huge shout out to this team, Danielle Ware and her team. Danielle Ware. Danielle leads our commercial and small business team. This team produced over $100 million in loan production last year. That's worth it. We'll continue to advance this opportunity through entrepreneurship, tailor products and services that meet the needs of our business borrowers, lines of credit. We increased our line of credit this year, and just really ensuring that the businesses have the support. That's something that's been, as long as I've been with Hope, an opportunity for technical assistance and the hand holding that some of our businesses need that they don't oftentimes get, financial assistance of the cash management. We want to be able to continue to partner with those technical assistance providers to provide that. And next slide, please. Fortifying community assets. Chloe Dotson, if you would wave at everyone. Yes, Chloe is our Chief Program and Strategy Officer. She leads our community and economic development work. And every community deserves a great facility. And we shouldn't have to move to get those facilities. We provide access to federally qualified health centers. We've done the financing for those, charter schools, public schools, historically Black colleges and universities. And on any given day or year in this matter, we've served over 100,000 patients, 25,000 students, and on any given year between 500 and 1,000 affordable housing units. And so we've always leaned into affordable housing. This is over 50% of our portfolio in the commercial area is to affordable housing projects. So want to continue that work. Advisory and development services. We have worked with municipalities, Chloe and her team, to supplement the capacity of their work to provide infrastructure, to work on facilities, but they need management and help and guidance to be able to manage federal resources and philanthropic resources, meeting all of those requirements. So having a consultant and the support of our team, that's been work that we're doing. And finally, Green Hope. Our Green Hope work is really centered around ensuring that people get access to lower cost energy and preserving the environment. We've ensured this by working with financing tools, electric vehicles, solar panels on homes, energy efficient appliances. And if you're in the market for any of these things, please see some of our associates. I am super excited. I'm nervous. This is a huge step for me. Bill has challenged me at every level of my career, and I'm grateful.
All right, well, good evening. Thank you, Cassandra. You know, it's one of the best parts about disappointment. I started at Hope in the year 2000 as an intern and never left when Ms. Bonham gave me the opportunity to come back. And the best part about this appointment is that I get to work alongside Cassandra and we get to do this work together. None of our work occurs in a vacuum. None of the impact that we spoke about happens on its own. It happens through partnership and through collaboration. It happens when we get together with mission-aligned allies to work to get resources to under-resourced places, the places that we call home. We have several examples of this type of collaboration on the screen that you see. The first is a map of the Delta Regional Authority service area. We heard Mayor Stanton from Shaw in the opening video. He talked about, how he was a part-time mayor. And for those of us who've done work in the Delta for many, many years, it's not uncommon to roll up and talk to a mayor, and he may be or she may be picking up trash or on a tractor cutting grass or doing something, above and beyond what we may think an everyday mayor does. That's the life, that's the reality of work in small towns. The mayor is the director of planning, the director of public works, the director of human services. And we found that Hope has a unique niche. Hope can be the Department of Planning for our small towns. Hope can be the Department of Planning for our HBCU partners. And we've had a lot of success doing this work. We've partnered with Mayor Harvey Johnson, former mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, who's got an incredible talent around getting resources into communities that may not have otherwise been able to get those resources. Places like Itabena or Drew or Shaw or Moorhead, Mississippi, we were able to get $7.3 million for sewer and water infrastructure, for roads, just to improve the quality of life, to get people what they deserve. With the support from our partners like the Delta Regional Authority, we were able to expand this work and replicate it over in the Alabama Black Belt with small towns over there. Places like Utah and Balaji and Tuskegee and Selma got plans underway and are really looking forward to getting some affordable housing up and going, some additional infrastructure work, and just projects that the community has identified are essential and important to the people who live there. Our CEO, Bill Bynum, talks about, pound for pound, historically Black colleges and universities are the single most effective set of institutions directed towards changing the trajectory of people's lives in America. I can attest, as I'm a product of an HBCU. I'm also the parent of an HBCU student at Tougaloo College, that statement is correct. And so, that's right. And actually, I do want to take a moment. I do want to shout out Dr. Lee, the president of Tougaloo College, Hope member who's here with us tonight. We'll talk a little bit about Tougaloo College, because when we're talking about really important partnerships, Tougaloo College is one of those. We had the opportunity to work alongside Tougaloo to work together on an opportunity. Tougaloo's water system, much like the water system in Jackson, is old. It's in need of an upgrade. And so we got together and worked alongside his team to draft a planning application to the Delta Regional Authority on, well, what's the plan? Oftentimes if you go to a small town or you go to a historically Black college and you go to your representative in Congress, the first thing the representative's going to ask you is, where's your plan? And so we got together and DRA funded the plan. And now there's a plan. And then Tougaloo came back and said, all right, we got the plan. Now we got to get the money. We got to actually execute the plan. So what we do, we got up in there, worked alongside the team at Tougaloo to write the grant so that we could fund the plan to get the work. And we are hopeful that that'll be funded and that work will get underway. We live in a capital-starved region. We know this. And so one of the critical roles that Hope plays is to import capital into the region. It could be public, it could be private, it could be philanthropic. But we also know that this work isn't going to happen, through inertia. We must organize, we must advocate, we must fight for the resources that our communities need and deserve. And we do this in coalition. I want to take a moment to shout out the director of the Hope Policy Institute, Kia Burke. He's one of my team members here who really leads our organizing work. We've got a logo up there for the Partners of Rural Transformation, for rural transformation. These are 6 community development financial institutions that serve 75% of the poorest counties and parishes in America. And when you step back and you look at those counties, what you see is you see the Mississippi Delta. You see the counties along the border of US and Mexico. You see counties that are surrounded by Native American reservations. And you see counties in Appalachia. Kind of sounds like a rainbow to me. Sounds like America to me. We found out that there's a lot of people that live there. There's also a lot of social, political, and cultural capital. And what we've learned is that when we work together, we are much more effective at moving resources into these communities. A benefit of Hope doing this work here is that we've also been able to move resources into those places as well. Last but not least, we wanted to include the logo for the HBCU Athletic Conference. We are the primary financial institution for the HBCU Athletic Conference. We are also the title sponsor of the men's and women's basketball tournament and the baseball tournament for that conference. The basketball tournament was just hosted by Stillman College in Tuscaloosa. I want to take a moment to shout out Holly Cooper, our Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications, who leads the team that executes our presence at that event. We embarked on this partnership 3 years ago, and each year it just keeps getting better. We did this because it was a real opportunity. For starters, it's led by an incredible leader, Dr. Kiki Barnes. We all want to roll with winners, and Dr. Barnes is definitely a winner. The sponsorship gave us an opportunity to demonstrate unequivocally that we want to be the primary financial institutions for HBCUs, HBCU employees, students, alumni, the communities, people who are surrounding those campuses in the Deep South. We want to be part of the solution to import the capital onto those campuses, to build new residence halls, to build libraries, to upgrade academic facilities. We want to make sure that they are strong well into the future. And as acre institutions, we want to be partners in the reinvestment of housing and small business opportunities. We want to be partners in the neighborhood development needs surrounding the campuses, all in concert with the people, all informed by the people who live there. If we go on to the next slide, I just want to emphasize how much a point that all of us know. It's that place matters. It's no coincidence that where we achieved those wins in Itabena and Drew and Shaw were places where we have branches. They're places where we are. The people who work in those branches, they live in those communities. They know exactly what those communities need. 2 places where we've been invited to go deeper are in Birmingham, Alabama, that's symbolized by the Vulcan on the left, and in our hometown here in Jackson, Mississippi. You know, Hope is not new to Birmingham. We've had some catalytic projects where we invested in the Boys and Girls Club in Birmingham. It was one of our most active sites for Paycheck Protection Program lending during the pandemic. And most recently, we just heard about the merger with New Pilgrim Federal Credit Union. So in a conversation with the church and the members, we jointly decided that it would be best to support our existing membership and to grow the membership by moving into a new facility. So we'll be opening up a new branch in Birmingham over the next several months. We're also exploring opportunities to expand our operations there as well. Another opportunity, which I'm deeply excited about, is the Hope Economic Empowerment Center, which you see here on your right, which is a rendering on your right. If you're here in Jackson and you've driven up I-55 by the old Budruckers, the old Lubies, every day it seems like another phase goes up. You know, today the white bricks are on, I think, 2 sides. You know, tomorrow will probably be 3. We are incredibly proud of this. You know, you're going to get everything you need in here. You know, if you need a car to get to work, you can go in there and someone's going to help you figure out how to get that car to go to work. If you want to start a small business, you can go in here and talk to one of our small business lenders. If you have never been a homeowner before and you want to be a homeowner in Jackson, Mississippi, you can walk in here and someone's going to help you figure out how to become a homeowner. But we're not just going to stop there. You know, Hope's not just about transactions. We are about transformation in the lives of our members and in the communities where we are. We're going to have space for community groups, for churches, for nonprofit organizations, large spaces. Think about 70 people that can get together in a room and organize around needs that need to be addressed in our community, organize around things like blight elimination, voter registration, violence interruption, If you are a member of Hope, your organization is a member of Hope, this will be a space that you can use to gather and tackle these problems. We can tackle these problems together. We're going to use this space for financial education, to augment our financial services. We're going to use it for home buyer counseling, to build credit. We're going to do entrepreneurial training classes with partners in this space. This is why it's not just a branch. This is the Hope Economic Empowerment Center. I want to take a minute to shout out Sean Perkins. He's our Chief Administrative Officer. He is providing critical project management around the facilities of this work. To our Chief Human Assets Officer, Kim Little. She is doing the work, leading the teams that recruit and train and build our culture to make these spaces work. And also to Mary Bruce Alford, our Senior Vice President of Investor Relations, who is helping us to raise the capital to finance and pay for this building. So as we go on to the next slide, we recognize that as high as demand is for a branch in every community, we know that the reality that it's not financially feasible. It's not feasible for us to have a physical presence everywhere. That said, through technology, we can bring hope to our members anywhere in our footprint. And if you think about it, many of us already are banking digitally. If we've ever used Cash App to pay a friend back or to pay a family member back, if you've ever used Venmo to pay a bill or to pay a merchant, if you've used Chime, you're using digital solutions to connect your financial affairs. And so we're doubling down on our digital banking services. We're going to make our digital banking experience best in class, best in the nation. I do want to take a moment to recognize our Chief Digital and Technology Officer, Gopal Narasimhan. He joined us last year following a career at FedEx, and it's really expanded our mindset about how we think about this opportunity. We describe this work as democratizing hope. It makes sense when you think about it. Every member of Hope is an owner. We're not a bank. This is not a place where the person who owns the most shares exerts the most control. Every single one of us in this room had one vote for our directors, and every single one of us voted the way we think it needed to go. We're a cooperative. Every member owns an equal share in the community, in this credit union. And given this structure, we know we work best when we listen to our members. We know that when we listen to communities and deliver on what they have signaled is most important, that's when we do our best work. And you'll see that's represented here by the feedback loops, where we go out into community and engage our members, engage our residents, ask for feedback. Tell us what we're doing well. Tell us what needs improvement. Let us do it. Let us test it, and then let's make improvements, because this is your credit union. So as we engage members and gather feedback on everything from products and services, customer service levels in a branch, our call center, our advocacy agenda. When we gather feedback, it's going to make us a better institution. So the final slide that I'll share with you tonight is an image that illustrates some of our current thinking. We're on the ground in markets, meeting with members, conducting interviews, gathering focus groups, gathering insights. And from these insights, we're rolling out pilot projects to test and refine, all in service to offering the best member experience that we can, all in service so that you can help us become the best institution that we can. A great example of this work is a recent partnership with Springboard to Opportunities. Aisha Andoro, their executive director, their CEO and president, is one of our board members at the Enterprise Corporation. You've heard Springboard is a nonprofit that works alongside residents in subsidized housing so that they can help them pursue their goals in school, work, and life. We engaged a world-class consultant to meet with the residents of Springboard, the mothers who live there, and ask them about what their engagement was like with the financial system. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot about trust. We learned a lot about the need to control one's finances. We learned about the high levels of sophistication that people use to manage their money when resources are scarce. And these learnings inform how we design products and services that will be best for our members to be the financial institutions our members need and want. So, in the spirit of inviting feedback, if you are interested in providing insights on our products or services, joining our pilots, I want to invite you to join us, join our member engagement community. There's a QR code on the boards. I believe our online partners are able to scan it as well. Some people may have scanned it when they registered. There's a few questions there, including contact information, an opportunity to share your willingness to be contacted to help us gather feedback. This is how we democratize hope, when we create opportunities for you to tell us what we need to hear, and then when we act on it, that's how we get to be the credit union. That's how we get to hope. Thank you all. I look forward to the rest of the meeting and the meeting you all after we close.
Good evening. My name is Alan Branson. I've got the pleasure to be the CFO for Hope. And just you can get the slide up. So I only have 2 slides. They look pretty simple. There's a lot of stuff behind them. On the credit union side, I just wanted to point out top line, which is our red line. Those are our total assets. So our credit union has grown almost to $700 million. There was a time when we, for those of us who've been coming to the meetings for a while, 20 years ago, we were about $2 million. So there's been a lot of growth, and it's not growth just for growth's sake. I hope that what you heard from Sandra and Ed is that every dollar of growth is a dollar of impact. Every dollar of growth is a new homeowner, is a new car owner, is a new business. So that growth of assets indicates growth of impact. And one of the primary ways that we do the impact is we provide loans. And so the blue line right in the middle is that our loan portfolio went from about 300 million to more than 400 million last year. And so in America, in the United States, we were #1 in our peer group for loan growth last year. So I just want to recognize, so the commercial lending team you heard had a record year of over 100 million. The consumer lending team had a record year of over 30 million. Consumer loans are a lot smaller than commercial. so that's a lot of loans. The mortgage lending area did over 40 million, which again was a record for us, and they are on track to grow that number by almost 3 times this year. And then we also had new market tax credit deals of more than 30 million, as we heard. That's with Toad's team. So our loan growth has gone very well. You'll see our deposit growth, which is the purple line. It has continued to go up, but if you extend those lines a little bit, you will soon see that our loan growth is faster than our deposit growth. So this is an opportunity for all of us, all Hope Credit Union members, to bring more deposits into the credit union. If you have any deposits at another institution, or if you have any friends who might have a deposit at another institution, or a family member. So we are looking for deposits, and we are doing this good work with deposits. And then the one last area that I do want to point out is, it's not explicit on here, but our capital ratio. The capital ratio is a ratio of your net worth to your total assets. It's a signal of how strong your financial institution is. Our capital ratio right now is approximately 22%. A well-capitalized credit union is only at 10%. So we have twice as much of capital as we need to be considered a well-capitalized credit union. We don't want to stay 22%. We actually want to get down to 10% because that means our balance sheet would double in size, right? So we have the capital that will support a doubling of our financial statements for the credit union, which means they get to double our impact. So that's the story for the credit union. It's growing, it's generating a lot of benefit, and it's positioned well to continue doing that. So if we can go over to the next slide, that'll be the enterprise corporation. So you'll see that Enterprise Corporation has also been growing. There's a little bit of a different story here. So the blue line is the loan portfolio. So the blue line, Ed made a passing reference to the PPP program. Some of you may recall that back in 2020, 2021, we've made $140 million of PPP loans in 2020 and 2021, and now they're all gone. In 2024, our last PPP loan paid off. So you can see, even though our line has been flat for the last 24 months, it's been changing radically because all those PPP loans that were being paid off have been replaced with new market tax credit deals and loans to other projects in the area. And then our growth at the end of last year, the green line, was driven by we were able to access some cash, both from donations, but also from some well-priced credit that we got from some of our bank friends. And so we now, at the end of last year, we positioned ourselves to continue growing the Enterprise Corporation with the cash that we were able to obtain. So the Enterprise Corporation is positioned well for growth as well. I don't have, that's my story, and I'm. But both institutions had very strong years in 2024 and are positioned for additional growth in 2025. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Crystal Woodard Smith, and I'm giving the audit supervisory report on behalf of the committee. Our committee, they are responsible for safeguarding our assets and protecting the interests of the members, which is all of us. They work very diligently and they validate that internal controls are sound, our records are accurate, independent reviews are performed, our operations are in compliance, and that we are in compliance as well with all federal regulations and even policies and procedures. The organization, we continue to have a very robust internal audit plan. We have over 20 plus audit modules. We are scheduled to begin that audit plan next month, including but not limited to our wire transfer controls, our compliance with the Bank Secrecy Act and OFAC, fair lending and information security. That's just a brief list of the audits that we have. The NCUA, our federal regulators, completed our examination of the credit union effective June 30th of 2023. And you're probably asking why so long ago? Well, NCUA, they can do the exams between 12 and 18 months. So we're coming up on that 18-month time frame, and we're scheduled to have our exam the week of June the 9th. So, but with our last exam, we had a very good exam. They reviewed our quality of management, our risk exposure, areas of regulatory compliance, and we're ready. We've started our NCUA prep meetings, and we've even did a risk assessment of the organization to make sure that we are in compliance with any high risk findings that we do have. So that's all that I have. I'm Mike Allen, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Thank you. I would, for those of you who know me, I just can't say they've told it all, and there's nothing I can add. But I really do say that I'm really appreciative of my colleagues. I think they have shared that hope is stronger than we've been at any time over the course of our 3 decades, and it's because of folks like the one you've heard that have put us in this position. Also want to acknowledge that Fred Miller has been on our board almost all of those 30 years, and he does double duty. He's been on the board of Enterprise Corporation, and he is the chair of the Audit and Supervisory Committee, which works on the matters that Crystal just described, that make sure that we are good stewards of the resources that are entrusted to us. We know that but for the support of others, we would not be in a position to do what we do. And we want to make sure that we are taking care, not just deposits, but the contributions that enable us to generate the impact that Cassandra and Ed told you about. So really appreciate the work that goes into that, and Fred, well, thank you for your stewardship of, and advice over those matters. Also want to acknowledge another board member who, similar to Ed's acknowledgement of Dr. Lee and his leadership of Tougaloo College, Rika Lewis Payton is the chair of the board of Talladega College, one of our partners in Alabama, over in Alabama. And we just really benefit from incredible expertise and perspective that our board members bring, our partners bring, and entrust us to help them to realize their goals across the region, because we cannot do this by ourselves. I hope you are as excited as I am about what you heard about with our strategic plan, where we are and where we're headed. I think this opportunity to go deeper impact by helping thousands of renters become homeowners, investing in schools, hospitals, nonprofit service providers, quality housing, other vital infrastructure that makes our community stronger, ensuring that people, as Cassandra was so passionate about, making sure that they're respected and get what they deserve when they walk into the doors of a financial institution. I mean, I know that that's not always the case. So many people go into petty lenders and check cashers, not because they don't qualify for a bank, but they feel like they will not get a yes. They would be told no, or they would not be treated with respect. We saw so often during the pandemic. Alan and Ed mentioned the PPP program, that so many people who had an account at a bank went into a bank and they couldn't get a paycheck protection loan. So they came to Hope, and we were able to go from doing 50 loans a year to 5,200 business loans in 18 months for folks who just would not get the respect that they deserved. And so really excited about the strategic plan that our board has blessed and given us the opportunity to really deepen our impact and take this, not just Hope, but the communities that we serve to the level that they so rightfully should be at. Also particularly excited about the Hope Economic Empowerment Center. You heard Ed's enthusiasm about it. I think we all share that. It's more than a branch. It's a catalyst for community stability, for economic growth, a place to have important conversations, to make the neighborhood and the city feel better about itself. Jackson and so many of the communities we serve, they deserve the best, but that so often is not what we hear in the news and on social media and in other places. And so we're committed to making sure that our communities get what they deserve. And quite honestly, credit unions are not something that a whole lot of people understand. They look at banks and they assume that banks are, that their water is wetter. Yeah, I'm here to say that our water is just as wet, and quite honestly, I think it's colder than any other financial institution in the country. I want to thank the board for their guidance and support. Thank my co-workers at Hope for putting us in this position. Several of them in the room. You all, I know that you are the front lines for everything that we do at Hope. So thank you for what you do. I want to thank our families. My wife Denise is here for tolerating us, because we take this work very seriously, and the support that they give us is incredibly important to all that we do. Speaking of my colleagues, Alan Branson's been my wingman since day one. No one, he's seen every part of this journey, and he's played several roles. And really, if you've known Alan as long as I have, to see him smile and get excited about the financial position of Hope is no small feat. So I guarantee you, this institution is on strong footing. He talked about our loan growth being at the top of the country. And he talked about our capital position. I think our capital position is in the top 5 among our peers in the country as well. So again, be sleep well at night knowing that your resources are in good hands. Um, Ed and Cassandra mentioned Pearl Wicks, who recently was named to the African American Credit Union Coalition's Hall of Fame for all that she's done. No one's done more than Pearl and Gopal and John and Cassandra and Ed and Sean and Danielle, who are our executive leadership team, to bring opportunity to communities across the Deep South. But I do particularly want to lean in with Cassandra and Ed. It's the first time since we opened doors in 1994 as Enterprise Corporation Delta and 1995 as Hope Credit Union that I did not hold the title of president. And for 2 decades, they have played multiple roles helping Hope become the nation's most impactful community development organizations. And I just want to thank them for stepping up and accepting the charge to oversee the state operations of Hope Enterprise Corporation and Hope Credit Union. That will allow me to focus more of my time outside our doors, engaging with partners, supporters, and navigating what is a dramatically different world than we realized when we started back in 1994, 95. To say that uncertainty is everywhere is putting it mildly. Not as much for Hope directly. We're as you heard, we're strong. We are very strong, and we're not as dependent on federal support as some of our nonprofit allies are. But the communities we serve are. No one in the country is as dependent on federal resources as people in Mississippi per capita, and Alabama and Louisiana are not far behind them. And programs that support food for some of the most where you have the highest concentration of food deserts in the United States across our region. We need those resources in our community. The child care resource, the health care support for affordable housing. Closing of the Department of Education puts kids who are already not getting adequate investment in their schools at risk. The Delta Regional Authority that was mentioned earlier, where we're partnering to drive resources into some of the most economically stressed counties in the country, is on the chopping block. Technical assistance programs for small businesses, Minority Business Development Agency is on the chopping block. Just was listening on the radio, an agency that supports homeless folks is at risk of being shuttered. This is a time like no other that we've experienced in my lifetime. Even in the 60s, there were programs that were being stood up to support these, even though they were not equitably distributed. The disproportionate impact on our members and vital organizations to support them could be devastating. But it's not only federal policy. Across the country, way too many things seem to be viewed as a zero-sum game where one person wins, another person loses. In a world that is more diverse and interconnected than ever, over the past 3 decades, Hope has seen firsthand what happens when people in places like Delta, in the Black Belt, in the Lower Ninth Ward, and in Louisiana, in so many under-resourced communities, what happens when they get access to the tools that those in more wealthy communities have more readily at their disposal. You see that when they get these tools, everybody wins. Not only do kids do better in school, the families are healthier, businesses, nonprofit organizations get what they need to start and grow and generate jobs and provide vital services. Crime goes down, when communities are more stable. Prosperity goes up and we all win. To lift up this point, can you go to my next slide? To lift up this point and to build on the lessons that we've gained over the past 30 years, in September, we want to invite everyone who shares our commitment to a world where we all win to join us here in Jackson for Delta Fest. as we embark on what we consider to be the greatest economic transformation of our time. Now, I know that sounds like hyperbole, but if you're going to get things done, you better be audacious. And we take this work very seriously. So we are embarking on the greatest economic transformation experiment of our time. Our goal is over the next 10 years to catalyze a thriving economic ecosystem in the Deep South where everyone, communities, families, everyday people in rural towns and inner city neighborhoods, where everyone sponsors. We're not envisioning just a conference. Delta Fest will be an engine for transformation, a hub where entrepreneurs, creatives, investors, business leaders, policymakers, and others come together to create an economy that drives our collective prosperity. The attendees will participate in a powerful mix of plenary, panels, performances, networking, strategy building, all designed to ignite tangible economic progress. So I encourage you to save the date. You see it on the screen, September 16th through 18th of this year, here in Jackson at the Convention Center. We are going to kick this transformation off, and we want everyone to be a part of it, contribute to it. We look forward to seeing you there. So save the date. We also expect to have a grand opening for the Hope Economic Empowerment Center in September. Delta Fest is September is going to be one to remember. Also, a little teaser. I want you to be on the lookout for one more very exciting announcement in the weeks ahead. So keep your eyes peeled on our social media, on our website, because there's more to come. Going forward, there may be slight shifts in how we talk about our work. To apply for certain federal resources for some programs, you might have to talk about it in slightly different ways, but be certain that our mission, our values, our commitment to ensuring that people in the Deep South have the resources they need to prosper, regardless of their race, their gender, where they live, that will not change. As a matter of fact, it's only going to get stronger. Friends, our work has just begun. Thank you for being a member of Hope. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to all of our staff members who have reported on the audacious activity of 2024 and looking forward to a greater 2025. I know some of the staff members raised their hands when they referred to during the presentations, but I would like for every staff member, department head to please stand so that the members can see you and recognize you for the great work that you've done for this organization. So don't be shy. I want to personally thank you for your efforts as chairman of the board of directors of the credit union. And I know I speak for all of those who are members of the credit union, that we really do appreciate the service that you have given not only to this institution, but the people of the communities that we serve. So thank you very much. At this time, if there are any questions for any of the members who are seated here in the room with us, and Mr. Slay, if there are questions that are by members online, so please let us know. We'll try to get them answered for you this evening.
There are no online questions.
Any questions from any of the members here in the room this evening? Well, I'd like to thank you, all of you who have joined us both virtually and in the room this evening, for joining us. It is our pleasure to serve as board of directors for this both great institutions. And we look forward to supporting those folks who will bring the change and to the community that we serve. As our motto says, brighter futures begin with hope, and hope makes it happen. So I now entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move.
Second.
And it's been moved and second that the annual meeting for 2025 of the Hope Enterprise Corporation and Hope Credit Union be adjourned. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it and the motion. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah.